There's a kind of silence that lives in ruins, a silence so full it speaks louder than any monument ever could. When you stand before what time has broken, the air changes. The sound of the wind seems older. The dust carries memory. The stones are no longer just stones. They are bones of a world that once breathed. Ruins are the places where time stopped pretending to be invisible. In them we see the truth of everything we build, that no matter how strong, how grand, or how divine our creations may seem, they will all eventually fall. And yet, there's beauty in that fall, a kind of soft, melancholic glory. We build monuments to defy time, to say we were here, but decay answers back gently, you still are. Because in every crumble, in every weathered edge, in every vine reclaiming marble, there's a conversation between the living and the lost. The Japanese call it wabi-sabi, the quiet beauty found in impermanence and imperfection. In a chipped teacup, in the yellowing of old paper, in the unevenness that time leaves behind. It's a philosophy that accepts that beauty isn't in what endures forever, but in what changes, what fades, cracks and softens. Western art once rejected this. For centuries, beauty was defined by order, symmetry, and perfection. The Greeks carved gods in flawless stone. The Renaissance revived them in marble flesh. But as the centuries turned, something shifted. Romantic painters began to look at broken columns and ruined abbeys not as failures, but as poetry. The Gothic revival found grandeur in decay. Poets wandered through abandoned cathedrals and saw not loss, but meaning. There's a reason for that. Perfection, no matter how stunning, grows cold. It's too complete to move us. Once you've seen flawlessness, there's nothing left to discover. It becomes static, almost lifeless.
But decay breathes. It carries time inside it like a pulse. Every flake of paint, every fracture, every missing piece, it's a sign that something once lived, once mattered enough to be built, to be loved, and to be left behind.
The beauty of decay is that it doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't shout. It simply exists, honest and unpolished. It doesn't pretend to be eternal. It knows it isn't. That's why it feels so human, because we too are impermanent. We too wear the fingerprints of time. Look at the ruins of Rome, the Colosseum, fractured, hollowed, yet still breathing the echoes of its past. The Pantheon, weathered, ancient, but still standing in quiet defiance. Or the ruins of Angkor Wat, swallowed by trees, roots entangled in stone, as if nature and history had decided to embrace rather than fight. These aren't corpses of history. They are living ghosts. They don't just remind us of what was lost. They remind us that nothing is ever truly gone. Everything lingers. Every civilization leaves behind a pulse, even if it beats beneath the rubble. We fall in love with ruins because they humble us. They remind us that everything we build, our cities, our bodies, our empires, will one day be touched by time's hand. And still, that touch can be gentle. Still, that touch can be beautiful. In ruins, beauty and death coexist. The two are not opposites, but partners. Decay is not destruction, as it is transformation, a handoff between eras, a quiet continuation rather than an abrupt end. Modern society resists this truth. We worship the unaging, the flawless, the preserved. We airbrush time out of our faces and filter the world until it gleams. But beneath that polish, there's a growing emptiness, a fear of the natural process that gives meaning to everything. Change. The paradox is that by trying to avoid decay, we end up erasing life itself. Because to live is to wear down, to weather, to age, to become marked by experience. The beauty of ruins is the beauty of that very process, the visible evidence that time has passed and that it mattered. When you walk through an abandoned church or a forgotten castle, you can almost hear the echo of footsteps that no longer exist. The air holds their weight. The walls remember their prayers. Even silence has texture. That's what makes decay sacred. It carries the ghosts of meaning.
Ruins are not tragic. They are honest. They tell the story of everything that's been taken and everything that remains. They show us that loss and beauty are not enemies. They are the same language, spoken differently. Maybe that's why when we look at ruins, we don't just see the past. We see ourselves. Our own fragility reflected in stone, our own impermanence turned into art.
And maybe in that reflection there's peace. Because if decay can be beautiful, then maybe so can we. When we falter, when we age, when we fall apart. We fall in love with ruins because they remind us of the one thing perfection never can. That to be temporary is to be real. And that even in the crumbling of all things there is a quiet, immortal grace.